Hey everyone, Part Sam. Welcome to part 2 of our Revell 125th Mustang Mach 1 video build. So yes, we're back with part 2. We're going to start off literally where we left off last time. We're going to get all the bodywork 2K'd. We're going to clean up and paint all the rest of the parts in the kit. Get our wonderful Pro Scale chrome down. I've just reused the video I put up on RSM the other week, so please bear in mind that it's been reused. And then get the engine wired up as well. So without further ado, let's get on with the build. Right, we're straight in where we left off last time, and today it's time for 2K. So we've got the Pro Scale Paints 2K system. You guys know this by heart now. It's a 2-to-1 mix of clear and hardener. So if you mix, say, 6ml of clear, 3ml of activator, obviously don't reuse your pipettes, just throw them away for each liquid. So I tend to pour the clear into the medicine cup and measure the 6ml that way, and then use the pipette to accurately measure the 3ml. Make sure everything's out of the pipette, put the lid back on the activator, throw the pipette away, and a fresh pipette, we need to add 5% of that total mixture of clear and hardener. Very simple instructions, very easy to mix. Once you got the thinner in there, give that a thorough mix up as well. And again, throw the pipette away, don't reuse it. And I always strain my 2K, always do. The activator has a habit of drying on the lid of all the 2Ks I've ever used. And if you're introducing that into the clear, you want to get rid of that. So we sell the 190 micron paint strainers at Pro Scale, so you can pick some of those up. We're going to use our anti-static brush from Tamiya to give the model a thorough wipe down. As you can see, we've secured the model to the Tamiya stand using some masking tape to make sure it's not going to fall off because, well, we've been there and done that before. We don't want that happening again. We've got my Iwata Revolution CR.5 airbrush. We're about 24 psi, and we're going to put down a semi-wet coat to begin with. And then we'll apply a second full wet coat after 5 minutes has elapsed and let it tack off. So it's a case of just methodically going all around. You guys seen this many times before. I'll always explain it though, just in case we get somebody new on the channel, but I will speed up the process in a second. So just go all around, applying a nice semi-wet coat, not full wet, just enough to give a semi-gloss finish. So 5 minutes has elapsed and the 2K's got nice and tacky. So we're back in with our second fully wet coat. So this time we're trying to get our full clear coat without flooding the surface too much. So just nice methodical passes. Same as we did first time round, just go a little bit slower so it puts down a little bit more 2K. So once we've gone around everywhere and we've got a pretty decent gloss coat, you may not get it on these passes. If you don't, I'd recommend putting all the parts back in the box for just 60, 90 seconds or so. Let that 2K self-level and then whip it back out and have a look and just check it using your light. So as you all know, as you leave this, as it comes out the airbrush, is how it will dry. So we want a nice glass-like finish. So by allowing it to settle for 90 seconds or so, it'll do its full self-leveling property and then we can get it back out, as we're going to right now. And using the light, I'm angling everything and looking for any orange peel, any areas that aren't a nice, clean, crisp gloss. And if it needs any more clear on it at all, we can just give it a light pass over with the airbrush. So while this is a 2-coat system, don't be afraid of putting more coats down. I have quite often put a third and even fourth very, very light coat down in places just to ensure the evenness. It's not necessarily the coats, it's the evenness. Because as I say, as you see this, as it finishes now, is how this will dry. So you've got any orange peel in there, or any imperfections, don't be afraid to push it a little bit more. It's very, very forgiving. So again, another 60 seconds in the box, and we'll take it out. Using the light to your advantage is the key here. You can angle it, look for any imperfections. I'm just going to start from the bottom on each sill, work our way up, check all along the side of the car. Same on the other side. So I'm going from bottom to top on all those panels, everywhere checking. Then we go over the roof, we go over the boot lid, over the tops of the front sills, front fenders or wings, wherever you call them, wherever you're from. And there we go. There's our 2K. So that can now sit and cure for a few days. It takes about 5 days to fully cure. It's handleable in about 4 hours. And in the meantime, I'm going to start some cleanup of all the rest of the kit. Now, there's quite a lot of parts in this kit. Some parts we won't be using, but for the majority, we will be using most of it as we go. Obviously, we've already painted up our chrome parts with that in part 1. So this is just everything else to do with the chassis and what have you. So it's a case of going through, methodically clean everything up, using a combination of Ultimate Modeling thinny sticks and sponges. So I like the 400 thinny and the 240 grey sponge is one of my favourites. We're going to assemble our engine halves together, and I'm going to be quite controversial on this one. I'm going to paint my gearbox and engine all blue, and I know it shouldn't be, but I like to do something controversial. I did the Super B wiring wrong. I wired that up incorrectly, and about 20 people told me in the comments on YouTube. Not you guys, over on ISM. So, you know, if it gets people talking, they might come back to see what you screwed up this time. So, yeah, maybe we've done it as a bit of a talking point, but hey, it's my car, and I wanted to paint the gearbox. So with the engine halves together, we can put our seats together. They've got a back section on them, which is a little bit awkward to do. I found just get them lined up, hold them with your thumb with a bit of pressure, then add your Tamiya extra thin or whatever glue you use on it, and just keep it held for a minute or two until they glue together. There you go. It just takes a little bit of time just to get them to glue together. And if in doubt, grab some Bulldog clips. These are one of my favourite non-modelling tools. Just your standard Bulldog clips. You can pick them up fairly cheap from Amazon, eBay, your local stationery store, whatever. And they're a very handy tool for clamping because they have quite a bit of clamping power, and they do prove useful in clamping parts for glue, which is always good. So we're liberally applying glue, not everywhere. Let the capillary action carry you through, just to get everything glued in place. Well, like I say, the clamps will hold it. There we go. So that's one of the seats done. We can move on to the next one. So not the best fitting seats, I'm not going to lie, which is why I've clamped them. But hey, it is what it is. The exhaust, I'm going to drill out the ends. They're not the nicest exhausts. I did contemplate putting my old tailpipes on. But in the end, I thought, no, we'll just open up the others. So we went for a small drill first to find the centre, and then a slightly wider one to widen it up. It didn't go quite perfect, but it was a good enough look to look better than just a stock block of exhaust, which is there. So just some careful drilling, take your time, don't stab yourself in the finger. Yeah, that hurts a lot. And like I say, moving on to larger drill bits as we go, we can widen it. And the idea is to widen it up so you've got a thin wall on the back, and obviously the centre is hollowed out as well Rear spoiler has got 3 parts to it. So I put a little dab of Tamiya Extra Thin on there, stuck the support in, got them in place, and then hit some Tamiya Extra Thin down the side of them. Like so. And get everything lined up nicely. There we go. We'll make sure these are all nice and straight. Engines together now. It's all dried, so we can give it a sand later on. For now, we're going to get the cylinder heads on. So again, a little bit of our Tamiya Extra Thin Plasti World mix. Get everything lined up and glued in place correctly. You don't need a lot of extra thin on these parts. You really don't. The capillary reaction will glue the part in. They're not like stress-bearing parts or anything that's, vitally important. Once you glue this on, once the engine's in, you'll probably never touch it again in your life. Our intake manifold is on the top as well, and this is all going to be blue. The whole engine is going to be blue. So probably get a few comments on YouTube, we'll see, but hey, it doesn't bother me. It's my car. I build them as if I was building it for myself. And you know what? I probably have a blue gearbox. I think this is the water pump going in now as well. So just a few dabs of Tamiya Extra Thin where they're required, and then some sanding. Lots of sanding on these parts. They're not the most difficult parts to do, but everything needed sanding. So it was just going through methodically and cleaning everything up. UMP thinny sticks and thinny sponge doing absolutely wonderful work as usual. So in the spray booth, we're going to some primer down. This is Mr. Servicer 1500 Black. I'm going to put a couple of coats down. We're going with, I think I went with jet black leather on this one. I forget now if I'm honest. So we just need a nice base primer of black. And again, like with the 2K, safety precautions, respirator on, gloves on, spray booth on. No family or pets in the room. Lack of paint are not to be trifled with. They are a very, very potent paint. So here we go. A couple of light coats of that, building it up. And then onto the chassis as well. Lots of angles to do on this, so take your time. It's quite a thin primer, the Mr. Servicer, so it can take a bit of coats, a few more coats over white. It's a case of getting a thinner coat down, let that dry, and then come back and infill it as you need. Quite a nice dashboard on this. Seats aren't too bad, it's just standard kind of comfort seats, I guess. Again, they've all been glued together, given a quick clean up with a UMP sponge. And the engine. The engine we're going to prime in Pro Scale grey primer. So a couple of coats of that on there, and then our chrome work as well. So we're going to take all the chrome sprues off we want. Get them all in our bath of bleach. So again, you're not going to dechrome everything. Some parts are not worth doing, like mirrors, things like that. Things that sit inside things, they're more than adequate as they are. The main parts we're going to use for chrome on this is the front bumper, rear bumper, and the grille. The rest of them, we're not going to do the actual full way. You'll see in a little bit. But for this process, we're going to use bleach to strip it. So I'm going to try a couple of different ways. This is in real time, by the way. This is how quick bleach will strip chrome. I'm going to properly use the technique for our chrome on the bumpers and the grille. And then for the rest of the part, I'm going to spray the bare plastic, like the wheels and that, and just see how everything works. So if you watch this, just like magic before your eyes. There you go. There's the chrome almost gone. With chrome, it'll either take it off instantly, not at all, or it'll take days to do. But hopefully, 9 times out of 10, it does this. It just vanishes right before your eyes. Got some clean water there to rinse the parts off. And we're back in the booth. We've got the Pro Scale jet black leather. And we're going to paint all our door cards, the rear seat, and all around the trim as well. Nice light thin coat, so don't need any heavy coat here at all. We're painting black over black, so the coverage will be really quick. In this case, just putting several light coats down until you're happy. Lots of angles, lots of nooks and crannies here. We are going to flock the floor later. Flock, yeah. But for now, we just want to get our leather colour down. Same on the seats as well. A couple of light coats is more than enough. We're through our Iwata HPC Plus at about 18 psi. It's my general workhorse airbrush for everything that isn't clear coat, colour coat, or primer. But sometimes I do use it for primer. It depends on primer. For smaller areas, I tend to use the HPC Plus. For larger areas, I use the CR3. And for large clear coats, I use the CR5. Technically, there's Revolutions. Like I say, a couple of light coats. Build it up. Get us our nice jet black leather look. Same on the dashboard as well. Anything with lots of nooks and crannies. Again, don't try and hose it all in one go. Several light passes at different angles will do the job sufficiently. And then we've got some Tamiya LP5 semi-gloss for our rear spoiler. The front Valance is kind of a spoiler too. And any other parts we deem necessary to paint in semi-gloss black. There we go. Onto the leaf sprung suspension and rear diff. We're doing exactly the same too. So Tamiya lacquer paints are very, very good. Very forgiving. So there we go, a couple of coats of that on those, and then the chassis as well. You can put this down wet if you want. There's no problem putting it down wet. It's only going down wet because there's a sheer amount of area I have to paint. And then suspension components as well. We're going to paint these black and detail paint them later. And there we go. Now the engine, we have Ford engine blue from ProScale Paints. For our Iwata HPC Plus again, 18 psi. I'm just going to put a couple of light coats down, turning the engine like a rotisserie chicken. Getting all those nooks and crannies with our hose and the paint on. So it'll take you 2 or 3 coats of this because the blue is quite a dark colour, so it does cover work really well. And there we go. We've got the air cleaner to do as well. And then the final coat on the engine. So just wafting it around, getting all those angles and all the recesses. It's a perfect colour for the Ford blue in my opinion. Like I said, I've done the gearbox as well. Quite often these are silver gearboxes, but I'm going to leave it all blue. Don't know if it'll trigger anybody over on ISM. But at the end of the day, yeah, I probably will paint it blue. I'll put it all matching. We've got some, looks like bright silver for our carbs from ProScale. Again, we're trying to develop our whole range of metals. We've got several already. We've got some titanium golds and silvers coming. And yeah, I'd like my own whole range because these pigments are so finely made that the metallics are just epically good. Seriously good metallics. So I think they deserve a range of paints. We've got the, I think this is the steel. I developed the steel colour as well. So this is the first time using the steel on the exhausts as well. So far we've got gunmetal, dark gunmetal, steel, bright aluminium and chrome. Like I say, it's a range I plan to add to full stop. Now these aren't colour mixed paints, these are mixed paints by myself. So it's a case of trial and error to get the correct shades. Bright aluminium is fantastic, this steel looks absolutely epic as well. The gunmetals are great and the chrome, well the results of the chrome speak for themselves on this build later on. When you look at the bumpers and the front grille, they look absolutely fantastic. A couple of light coats of the silvers. And all the metallic parts are painted. And here we go. So we've got the dechrome parts now. We're going to clean all these up with our Tamiya sprue cutters. And then we'll hit them up with the UMP sanders to make sure they're fully cleaned. And we can get them mounted and prepped for paint. So this is the rear bumper. So yeah, this 400 thinning stick is one of my favourite tools. I absolutely love this one. It's probably my go-to sander I always grab. Perfect grit. Looks absolutely fantastic. And then the 240 thinny sponge, again, another one of my favourites. It's a case going around. Any wisps of flash or chrome might be left behind. Sprue connector points are all going to be got rid of. Right, so we have a chrome demo. I'm going to run you through this rather than showing you how I did it separately. This is a video I uploaded to ISM not long ago. So I'll leave you in this and you can see how we painted the chrome. A brand new product from myself and Simon of Pro Scale Paint is our chrome paint and chrome paint sealer. So it's a two-part system. Costs £14 for both bottles. It's a 60ml bottle of chrome and a 30ml bottle of chrome sealer. Now the holy grail of chrome paint will be one that's high shine, can be clear coated and is handleable without any loss of shine to the finish. And that's what I'm going to show you today. So if you follow my steps here, this is the manufacturer's recommended steps. You will end up with a very high shine chrome, a chrome that can be clear coated, and as I say, a chrome that can be handled without any loss to the shine. So you start off preparing your parts. So if you've got chrome parts, you need to dechrome them in your standard manner using bleach or oven cleaner or other method you use. If you're just painting bare plastic or you've got your parts dechromed, I'm just going to prime in black. And the black is there for two reasons. It gives us a primer base for our chrome paint, and black under chrome will give the best shine. So you can experiment with different colours of primer like white and what have you, but for me black will always be the way. So a couple of light coats of primer wherever your black primer of choice is. So once the black primer is dried, we need to clear coat it. The clear coat will give us a very smooth base for our chrome. So for that we recommend ProScale's 2K clear coat, a 3-part system. I have a separate video on spraying this, which I'll put in the description of the video, and I will show the process at the end when we protect the chrome. So it's just basically 2 coats, a semi-wet coat to begin with, let that flash off for 5 minutes, and a full wet coat at the end, and that should leave us with a super smooth black high gloss finish in preparation for our chrome. The 2K clear coat is left to fully cure for about 6 hours, and then we can proceed to the next step. Then we have the chrome paint itself. Like I said, it's in a 60ml bottle. It doesn't need thinning at all. It's straight to use out the bottle. It is very thin, so I would recommend using a pipette to get it into your airbrush. Now I'm going to be using my Ultima Apex 0.2mm needle airbrush for this today. We're about 18 psi. We've got all the safety precautions on. We've got our respirator on, our boot on, and gloves on as well. And what we're going to do is apply 3 light coats of the chrome. So you want very light coats. Let it off gas for 5 minutes in between each coat. Don't spray a heavy coat. It is detrimental to the finish. You just want a very light, even coat all over. That is the key. Nice, light, even coat. Getting all the angles and everywhere. But don't spray a thick, wet coat. It is detrimental to the chrome finish. Like I say, leave that to 5 minutes to off gas, and you can come back with your second coat. So I'm doing 3 parts of my current project. This is a Ford Mustang Mach 1 from Revell. Just doing the grille and the front and rear bumpers for now. 5 minutes has elapsed and we're back for our second coat. You can leave the paint in your airbrush, no problem, but I will give it a good mix up again before you spray it. On the second coat, you can see it starts to get some good coverage, but like I say, don't go mad with the paint. Nice light thin coat is the key. So it's just a single pass on each go, making sure we get even coverage each way. So there we go. There's a second coat on that. Quick look already. We get a beautiful high shine chrome finish. And then onto our grill. The grill's a bit more difficult because of all the different angles on it. But it's just a case of being nice and careful and not overspraying that chrome. Like I say, pop it to one side for 5 minutes. You can come back for your third and final coat. Now I'm going to show this in its entirety, how to do it. While when you read it on paper how to do it, it seems very long and convoluted. It's not at all. It's actually quite a simple system. It will require 2K clear coat, preferably Pro Scale is what we'd recommend. But for the results you get, I think it's well worth it. So there's the third coat on the rear bumper. That is looking absolutely fantastic. We'll also do a third coat on our front bumper as well. Again, we're not going heavy coats at all. We're just going very fine mist coats over the top, over the front, underneath and behind as well. And the same on the grille. We'll give that one last coat as well. What a beautiful gloss finish. Look at that. It dries super fast. It literally flashes off before your eyes. And that chrome is absolutely amazing. So there we go. There's 3 coats on each one. They now need to be left for 30 minutes at about 20 degrees centigrade. So typical room temperature. If it's a bit colder, leave it a little bit longer. But I left this for about 30 minutes and then came back with the sealer. So the sealer is the product that actually protects the chrome from the clear coat. So it's neat out the bottle. It's already pre-thinned. We're going through my Iwata HPC Plus this time at about 18 PSI again. And the aim of the game here is 3 very light mist coats. So we don't want to put any heavy coats on. We just want to come a little bit further back and just pass with nice even passes, 1 pass per time, just putting a very light coat on. And you should just see the 2K dull a touch with each coat. So very light coat on each part. We'll then put it to one side to flash off for 5 minutes and then put our subsequent other 2 coats on afterwards. Now, it is this sealer that allows us to clear coat it, because any other chromes, including this one, without a sealer, once cleared, will lose that high shine. It just dulls them instantly. So this is probably one of the most important steps of this, and very important that you follow the steps clearly. So don't put a thick coat on. You just want to put 1 pass on, leave for 5 minutes like this, and then come back with your second coat, and then your third coat subsequently after. So just a nice light thin coat, and at the end you should just end up with a slightly dulled chrome finish. So like I say, both these paints are pre-thinned, £14 for the set from proscalepaints.uk. They'll go through virtually any size airbrush needle. This is a 0.35 on here for the sealer, and the chrome went through a 0.2, no problem. So anything 0.2 and upwards you shouldn't have any problems with whatsoever. You clean out the airbrush with a lacquer-based cleaner. We sell a cleaner on our site as well. After we've got our 3 coats of the sealer down, we can leave that to dry for approximately 20 minutes, and then we come in with our 2K mix. So this is ProScale's 2K paint. We're going to apply a light mist coat to begin with, a tack coat, leave that 5 minutes and come back with a heavier coat. So this is a 2-to-1 mix of our 2K clear. So you mix 2 parts of clear to 1 part hardener. So say 6 ml of clear to 3 ml of hardener. There's no thinner required in this today for the chrome, but normally you would add 5% of thinner if you were spraying, say, a car body. But this is literally 2 parts clear, 1 part hardener of our 2K. Like I say, on the first coat, we're just putting a very light mist coat down to start the process. That's then left to flash off for 5 minutes, and then we can come back for our second coat with our full wet coat. Now, you can put just 2 coats down if you want, or what I did and what the instructions recommend as well is leave for a minute, see how it looks, and if you think it needs a bit more clear coat, you can put it on. But you can see there instantly with the second wetter coat of 2K, the high gloss, high shine chrome finish. It looks absolutely fantastic. It looks absolutely brilliant. So like magic, that sealer has worked, and we now have a beautiful high chrome finish on our parts. It looks absolutely fantastic. So we're going through my Iwata Revolution 0.5. This is the airbrush I used to 2K. We're at about 24 PSI. And we're going to use very, very little 2K. But of course, make sure you follow the safety concerns and the safety observations. Be gloved, have a proper respirator on, have a spray booth running, a bit of ventilation, and make sure you're in the room on your own as well. So having a quick look, it just needs a little bit more. So I'm going to give it a third coat. And look at that shine. It looks absolutely fantastic. And like I say, 2K is one of the best clear coats you can get. Ours is super thin, so it doesn't look over thick. Ours dries super fast. This is dry in about 6 hours. Once you finish, you can polish it up to make it even shinier. It will withstand a lot of chemicals, and you can handle this to your heart's content, gluing parts in place, moving them around, and you won't lose any of that high shine. And like I say, once you're done, you can polish it all up again should you require. So this is literally the holy grail of chrome paints. It's able to be high shine, clear coated and durable, which is unheard of almost. There's a lot of chromes out there that claim to be this, but the likes of Molotow and Revell and the spray can, which I use quite regularly, they can't be handled. And you can see how high shine that finish is on those parts. It looks absolutely fantastic. Like I say, with the superior clear coat of 2K, this makes these very, very strong as well and able to withstand a lot of handling. And there we go, there's our chrome grille done and the front and rear bumpers. So have a final quick look of everything, see how they look. If they need a little bit more, you can always give it a little bit of a spray, but they're looking good to me. Beautiful chrome finish, looks absolutely fantastic. Just losing all the light and getting all the angles. I'm looking at it, I'm quite in awe here at the minute, to be honest, looking at it. Looking pretty good. And the same on the front bumper as well. Looks absolutely fantastic. I've got very high shine lights in my studio, so it's quite hard to see sometimes. We're zoomed in a little bit here to have a look. You can see just how reflective that finish is. Looks absolutely fantastic. Like I say, this is on my Ford Mustang Mach 1, which the videos will be out very soon. So you can see this process again and the finished result of the car as well, which I'll stick a picture on at the end too. And there's our chrome grille as well. And I took it outside for some natural shots. As you can see, once the light catches it, you can see how beautifully reflective that chrome is. And this can be handled. You can touch this, you can do whatever you want to it, and it does not lose that shine at all. So there we go. Pro scale paint, chrome paint, and sealer. The perfect high shine chrome that can be cleared and handled. Absolutely fantastic. You can buy this off our site, which I'll link in the description below, proscalepaints.uk. It's £14 for the set of both. It's a 60ml of clear chrome and a 30ml of the chrome sealer. We also have our 2K system on there and a black primer if you want to buy the whole lot to do together. Thanks for watching today. I hope you found that video useful. Like I say, the Mach 1 build will be up eventually on iAssembly on my Patreon very soon. And you can see the real result of this on the car here. And it just looks absolutely fantastic. There we go, all the chrome work done. We can get back to our engine. So we need to widen the hole for the distributor cap. I've got a Gopher Models distributor cap there with some black leads. So I'm just going to drill it out big enough for the distributor to fit in. Bit of trial and error to do. The hole's never big enough. Don't go straight for the biggest drill bit first. Start off small and go bigger. And then once you're happy, you can test fit it in. Genuinely, these don't need glued in place at all. Now, there are imitation spark plug heads on the engine. I'm just going to whip them off with a chisel. Then we can get our drill bit in to drill out the ignition lead holes. So just take your time here. Don't be snapping drill bits or scratching paint. So drill into the engine, clean it off, move on to the next one. Be as nice and neat as you possibly can. There we go. And then distributor. So I'm going to separate everything out a bit. No, this is not wired correctly. This car ain't going to start. So I'm not faffing around doing the firing order. In this case, we'll pop our distributor in. We'll cut the wires to the appropriate length. And then just push fit them in place for now. We have some heat shrink to go on later when everything's done. And that will imitate our boots on the end of our plugs. But for now, I'm just getting everything cut to length. And it's going to position it in the hole temporarily. Just to get everything set up. And come back a little bit later and get our insulating boot in place. So yes, I know some people like to get these firing orders correct. For me, honestly, it's just not that important. This isn't going to turn over at all. So the engine's not going to start. I understand realism, but I don't know the firing orders, and it really doesn't bother me all that much. So I don't think I've ever wired one of my engines correctly. I just literally get them in place. Don't commit to CA glue just yet. Wait until you're fully confident of where everything is. And then with some glue, we've got our freshly chromed valve covers. So these haven't been sealed, these are sprayed directly onto plastic, the white plastic, and it's not sealed. And you can handle it quite a bit before it rubs off, so you can get things in place like this, no problem at all. If in any doubt, black prime, 2K, chrome, seal, and 2K again, and you'll know it'll be just fine. But these look really good. The chrome looks absolutely fantastic. Same on the other side as well. We can get our manifold or headers in place. Bit tricky this one because it casts a butt up to the engine at the back. Actually, it's the other one, sorry. It's the next one that does that, not this one. So there we go. We are in place. And on the other side, this is the awkward one because it wraps around the front. You need to make sure you line that up as well. So the say glue can be a bit of a pig sometimes to get things to stick. But it's a case of getting it where you want it, hold it, give it a bit of brute force for 5 minutes. Just hold it in place while you, I don't know, watching a video, talking to somebody, whatever you're up to. And it will glue in place. We are using the Bob Smith's Gold, which is the non-fogging CA glue. And it does take a little bit longer to fully dry. But there we go, that's that in place. And then our little insulators for the end of the HT leads, they're cut from the supplied rubber heat shrink that comes with the detail upset for the distributor. So we're going to cut 8 even sized individual parts, slot those over the wiring. And then we know it's roughly cut to length. We can apply a little bit of glue on the end and just slot it in place. There we go. Do have a surprising amount of realism. They do look really good. And there we go. That's where we're going to leave that for part 2 today. We're back for part 3 very soon. But there's our engine all painted and wired up. So there we go. That's where we're at today. Excellent. 2K went perfect. Absolutely perfect. That Pro Scale Chrome is wonderful stuff. Honestly, it really is fantastic. Like I said in this video, I used it as a bit of an experiment on this. I didn't follow the full process on all the parts. I've just tested it 2 different ways, with and without primer, basically. So on the main system, I did the primer, the clear coat 2K, the chrome, the sealer, then the 2K again. That gives a far superior finish that you'll see on the bumpers and the grille. All the other parts, I stripped the chrome off and straight on the bare plastic hit it with the chrome. Still gives a nice chrome effect, but it's a totally different chrome effect. So going forward, I know how to do it, and I will do it the full way with everything next time. But that's where we're at today. So we've still got a bit more work to do in part 3. These videos are a little bit longer than normal, so apologies if it's dragging on a bit, but there was so much footage for building this car. It was like 18 hours, which is a lot more than normal, that I couldn't just get rid of it all, so it needed to be used. So yeah, slightly longer videos these. But thanks for watching today. I will see you all in part 3 very soon. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Take care. Bye-bye.